so honored to be a part of some of them and help out wherever I can, and it's amazing to see how many people give and how many people step up in the name of Ronnie James Dio and the Dio Cancer Fund to keep not only his memory alive and his music alive, but also help those that are battling this horrendous disease. So, incredible work that Wendy and her team do and continue to do in the name of an incredible man that I've said so many times I've had the great fortune of being a friend with and spending so much time with and have so many personal stories with over the decades, and as great of a singer as he was, as great as a musician that he was. For those of us here that knew him personally, we know he was an even better human being, and that is really saying something. Yeah! So, we have a lot to do this afternoon. There's going to be some tremendous performances, some tremendous speeches, and a lot to get to, so I certainly want to move things along, but I'll share one quick thing with you before we do. And a number of people asked me when I was doing some interviews at Bowling yesterday and coming in today about the first time I ever heard Dio sing and how did that happen and what was my first exposure to his voice. And as a kid growing up in New Jersey, I would often spend summers at the boardwalk at the Jersey Shore. And I still do that to this day. And there was always, back in those days, these stands where you could win albums. And you put a quarter on a number, and if the wheel came up and your number came up, you could pick any album that was in the stand, and all the album covers would be up. So as a kid, I don't know, I was 13, 14 years old, I put a quarter down, my number came up, and I won. And I'm looking at all the album jackets, and I'm saying, which one do I get? I had no idea. I mean, I didn't know anything about many of the bands that were up there. And there was this album right in the center, and it had a picture on the cover of it of three angels smoking cigarettes. Now, I didn't really know who Dio was or Sabbath was, but I knew that that album cover was going to piss my parents off when I brought it home. So I said, I'll take that one. And I took that one, and I got home, and I dropped the needle on that record, and heard Neon Nights, and heard this voice come out. And that was it. I was hooked as a fan. And then, of course, I went back and discovered the great stuff with Rainbow, and then went forward to all the great Dio stuff, right up to the end, right up to the last album with Heaven and Hell, the incredible body of work of Ronnie James Dio, the consistency in a day and age where we see so many artists as they get older lose their ability to sing, lose their ability to perform, get cranky, not engage with their fans. This guy did it the right way, right till his final breath. And I gotta tell you, it's just so heavy and emotional for me to be here and see all those great videos and those pictures, and I'm thrilled everybody's here. And let's celebrate for the next few hours the life of a great man and a great musician, Ronnie James Dio. Up the first guest. This is a guy that I got a chance to meet 5 years ago when Ronnie passed, and he certainly, in talking with him, told me some important things that I've certainly done in Ronnie's name over the last 5 years. Whenever I've done speaking engagements or talked to people, I've relayed, using Ronnie as an example, of the importance to get screened and get checked. Because I remember that this man told me that if Ronnie would have been more proactive with that, we very well may have still had him today. So it's an important message to get out, and this is an important man to kick things off. One of Ronnie's doctors, Dr. Sandy Kapoor. Give him a round of applause, please.
Well, thank you for being here, everyone. It's really hard to believe that it's been 5 years, actually to the day. I think Ronnie almost planned it, on a Saturday, to the day that he passed. And we're really here today to honor this man's legacy much about his music and got to know him, the honor of getting to know him and caring for him in a really vulnerable and critical time of his life as he was fighting stomach cancer. And what I learned from him and what I was inspired to do during those months of really fighting was absolutely inspiring and amazing. To get to know this man who was generous, think of others before himself. He took his fans seriously, and throughout his career had devoted and put himself last behind his fans, his friends, his family. He was a true giver. Together with Wendy Dio and his musical family, we helped and struggled to help Ronnie fight this courageous battle, never giving up hope. But I, as a physician, see a lot of bad things happen to people, but I was so inspired by his attitude to be positive and to be hopeful and to be kind and not to blame anybody. I traveled with Ronnie and Wendy during his treatments for cancer in Houston. And still, this is where I truly got to know this man. I mean, even through his chemo treatment, he befriended a fan, a young man who was stricken with cancer too, while he got his treatment. And he kept in touch with Carmine through the months of treatment. And together they supported each other, just another man and a fan, a friend. And unfortunately, that man succumbed to cancer too, as did Ronnie. One thing really struck me though, when I was flying back with Wendy and Ronnie back from Houston after one of his chemo treatments back to Los Angeles, and he sort of nonchalantly looked at me and said, "You know, this really sucks, this whole cancer thing. You know, I really should have gotten checked earlier." So he realized at that time that, his kind of not paying attention to some of the things he should have was a bad thing, and he had figured it out during his treatment. Those words resonated with me, and they stuck with me. And from that moment on, during that, I was hooked. I was hooked on trying to figure out a way to help fight this and how to inspire others. And amazingly, that spirit and courage existed in his wife, Wendy. Without her, he never would have been able to get through or struggle through and fight this battle. And the idea is, too, she never gave up hope for Ronnie, and she never gave up hope, and she still hasn't given up hope for others, to prevent others from going through what we all went through in losing such a great man. The strength continued, and shortly after he died, Wendy and a group of his close friends, colleagues, workers, joined together to form the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. The idea and the mission behind it is to stop cancer before it starts. And without this group of amazing people that sit here before you too, they're all here, have taken countless hours of time out of their lives to volunteer, to really put this together. And I was astounded by the amount of support and the efforts that people went to. But then it also confirmed me what a great man that Ronnie really was. The philosophy stems from knowledge equals power of our cancer fund. We need to know more about ways to detect cancer early. I've seen too many people like Ronnie go through these kind of horrible diseases and deadly diseases and had to give too many people bad news. It's important that each and every one of us gets the idea of getting checked and reminding others and family members to get out there and get checked for cancer. It's about us. It's about telling your friend, your loved one, to get involved and to get yourself checked. Because early detection saves lives. and it gives us a better chance of curing the cancer. So the Spirit has moved us. Over the past 5 years, we're really busy. We've, with the generous, amazing support of Ronnie Dio's fans, we've raised over $1 million. And with that $1 million, we have personally, the whole board has been involved in directing that money to real research and real programs that go directly to the source. We've had board members going out to different sites where we're doing research, like Vanderbilt Hospital, where we're looking at early cancer screening markers for stomach cancer, so that we can perhaps do a blood test and find this disease early on, because early detection would have saved Ronnie's life. We personally went out there to figure out, make sure that the cancer research is actually going to be usable. So we gave over $800,000 between these large institutions of MD Anderson Cancer Center and Vanderbilt University. And the best part about that is the money that we raise, $1 million, or whatever we're giving to them, these hundreds of thousands of dollars, with these large centers, are able to get grants and government-sponsored grants and funding that equal tens of millions of dollars. So it's seed money from private organizations like Ronnie Dio's Foundation that you all give to. It goes exponential in research. So what do the next 5 years bring? Well, we're not done yet, Ronnie. Wendy has told me that she wants to raise $10 million. 10 times. We can do it. We can do it, and we will do it, because I've seen this group of people, and they're tireless. His fans, everyone, are absolutely, unbelievably dedicated and devoted to this cause. As future projects go, we're going to start working with UCLA to start to form other early forms to try to get early detection in prostate cancer. One of the cancers that is we don't have very good screenings for, and we're going to try to do some of those things locally. We also have a pitch to try to make sure that everybody gets checked for skin cancer. The skin cancer is very common in younger people that come to Ronnie shows and have come to different shows. And if we can save the lives of one person from melanoma or other skin cancer, that's one of our missions to do. And we'll keep doing those at different functions along the way. We also, even working with out-of-the-box things like figuring out these amazing mechanical noses of dogs, a lot of whom are rescue dogs, that are trained to sniff out cancer. These amazing animals are going to join us in the fight to detect cancer early. I think Ronnie would have been proud of us, proud of his team, and proud of you all for what we've accomplished over the last 5 years. And thanks to all of you for keeping his legacy of humanity alive every day. I also want to thank and shout out to my family who've put up with my hours and busyness of going here and going there and being out of town. I want to thank my kids, Devin and Dylan. Who are also Wendy's godchildren. So I'm blessed to have that fire. And they've also got Dio guitars, and they're learning how to play guitar. And so someday they'll be up here. Not today, but someday. I want to thank my parents who are here also for also giving me this support